welcome to the Immanuel Seattle AV setup with the media team. Today we're going to go over the setup of the system. First would be microphone setup. We have 3 separate microphone areas. There's the piano, the lectern, and the children's church. Then we'll go over the TV setup, and then we'll move to the master panel in the AV cabinet, and then finish up in the booth. Alright, we're over here at the piano mic setup. First is the voice mic for the piano. It's this Shure SM58, the silver top one. Just take the cord, wind it around the mic stand, plug it in the back. Make sure you hear the click. And then it fits in the holder. Tighten it up, and that's set up. And over here is the mic input jack on the wall. There's mic 1 is the voice mic, 2 and 3 are hooked up for the piano mic. Here's the piano mic setup. It's a pair of mics. They're stored in this Tupperware. And they come out and attach to this stand. When you're setting up, you want to aim the microphone towards the middle of the piano. It's on a ball joint, and so you can just adjust it as you need. Alright, the lectern mic is one of these. Again, you just wrap the cord around. Pop it on until it clicks. Sometimes this one is a little tricky. Put it in and make sure it hasn't been uncoupled, and then adjust the microphone for comfort. Alright, we're over here at the children's church setup. The mic stand is usually just back here. Bring it down next to a woman's chair. Again, wrap the cord. Click it in. It's the same kind of microphone as over at the lectern. Pop it in and adjust. Make sure the foam end stays on. And we're good. Alright, here we are at the TV setup. Basically it's plugging power in and plugging in a cord that comes from up in the booth. So we start with extension cord that's plugged in behind the column. You plug in the TV, and then you plug in this little box, which is sitting here, and you grab this gray cable that's coiled up behind the column and plug that into the box itself. And power button is on the back on the right side. And that's the setup. Alright, here we are at the master panel of the AV cabinet. We open this up, and they're labeled. So number 1, main power, number 2, mixer, number 3, hearing assist. After that, we're set up down here. Now we'll head up to the booth. Now we're up in the balcony in the AV booth. We have the mixer, we have the camera switcher, we have the cameras, and we have the computer. Next I'll show how to set up the mixer. Alright, here's the audio mixer. To turn it on, the power button is actually on the bottom. Turn that on, and then it's ready to go. Channel 1 here is the voice microphone at the piano. Channels 2 and 3 are for the piano. And then the rest are labeled. So channel 7 is the pastor, channel 8 is the assistant minister. Those are the wireless mics. And then there's a master, which comes from the AV panel down in the AV cabinet. We also have a computer set up for the audio coming out of the computer, and then the two on the end are the speaker levels. Most of those should be fine as they are. We tend to just use these red buttons here to mute individual channels as needed and leave the levels where they need to be. Next, we'll move into the camera switcher. All right, here's our camera switcher. There's 4 switches for different cameras on the front, and in the back are all the ports. We'll start left to right, and they're kind of all laid out here. So first is the audio, then camera 1, camera 2, HDMI 4, which goes into the 4 slot. We skipped slot 3. Then there's the A10 monitor HDMI out. Then the USB port. Then the network cable. And last is the power button, and that screws it. Once this is set up, this monitor pops up, and this shows the previews of all the different cameras. Next, we'll go into setting up the cameras themselves. All right, we have 2 cameras. One is permanently affixed on the underside of the balcony ceiling. The second one is here. You just take the lens cap off, set it on top of here, and then there's a cable here with an HDMI and a network. Plug the HDMI in first, then the network cable, then on the right hand side there's a little power button and turn it to on. And it'll start to move. And that's the setup for the camera. All right, here we are at the computer setup for the AV booth. First we have our headphones. It has wires inside. This hooks up to the computer itself and then into the headphones. Monitor 1 is our main monitor. This is where we have OBS and our camera controls. Monitor 2 is up here. This is the preview for the PowerPoint slideshow. Monitor 3 is the PowerPoint slideshow itself. And monitor 4 is our camera setup. As you can see, we can switch between cameras from here, which will then send it to the computer. That concludes our setup tutorial. There will be additional training for all of the software setup at your orientation, but we hope to see you soon. Thank you.